I'm glad I met you, as a matter of fact. And when we start out on our next adventure, we also meet some old enemies. The Yeti, as a matter of fact. So I want to warn you that if your mummy and daddy are scared, you just get them to hold your hand.
Whoa! Hello, I'm Harry Roberts, and I created that deepfake reconstruction trailer featuring Patrick Troughton. And this is the video how I tell you who done it. No, wait, that's John Pertwee.
So let's see how he did it.
So it all started in 2018 when I decided for my A-levels to reconstruct a scene from The Power of the Daleks. So I roped 3 friends in to perform in front of a green screen. And let's be honest, it wasn't good. That green screen was horrible. It shouldn't be that creased. So many things went wrong with it. So they weren't actors. So they would say their lines and stop at the end of each line, so editing it just became a nightmare. The whole point of the production was to get motion capture, actually. I used the Xbox Kinect, which was made by a company called PrimeSense, and I used a software called FaceShift. Both got bought by Apple that year, and were turned into the iPhone X with the notch. That is basically a Kinect.
And you end up with scan data of yourself.
Use the IR image and the dot pattern, and we push them through neural networks to create a mathematical model of your face.
So that was they were killing my project. But luckily deepfakes were just coming into popularity. Now, I did try deepfakes, but...
Ben, remember what he said in the tracking room? Something about this old body of mine is wearing a bit thin.
So he gets himself a new one? It's over. Doctor?
It is the doctor, I know it is.
Now look, the doctor always wore this, so if you're him, it should fit now, shouldn't it? The doctor kept a diary, didn't he?
Yes.
I thought so. I wonder where. I wonder where.
It looked horrible. You needed to train a lot of data, and also my computer was just underpowered for the task. So one of the major problems that we encountered was trying to lip sync to old 60s audio without any visual input. It's just like, what's happening there? Like, is there a bump there? Is that someone getting up, or is it someone hitting the camera, or we don't know. I mean, I tried completing my A-levels. I got an A star for it. But that's mainly just for the progress, not for how it ended up looking. Yeah, and I just sat on the idea of, I really want to try reconstructing a scene from Doctor Who. Last year, I tried re-deepfaking some of the footage, and it works so much better.
It's part of the TARDIS. Without it, I couldn't survive. Come here!
This is done without much data. It's still very blurry at the sides, but it works, and it shows that something like this can work. And that brings us to this year, 2022. And I decided, okay, it's my final year in uni. I want to create this reconstruction. And we had a beautiful green screen studio, and I had good camera now, this camera, the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K. And so I knew, okay, I can key well, I want to track the camera, so I know the camera has to be moving, it's going to be on a shoulder mount. So I called my friend Isaac, and we filmed the scene. But before we get to that, this video is sponsored, it's not sponsored, but it could be sponsored by me. I've got a Patreon now, and so if you'd like to, yeah. So go back, I wasn't planning on doing that sponsored, but that just sounds like a normal YouTuber would say at that point, wouldn't it? Now, I wanted to cast an actor, but it's really difficult, especially during COVID. Everyone's kind of worried, and also, who would you get to play Patrick Troughton? How would you get them here? I'd want someone for free, because I'm very broke at the moment, and travel costs and everything, so I just was an inevitable thing that I would have to play the character. I really wanted to just direct, but it's just like, okay, this is just a proof of concept, really. So, to prepare for this role, for the whole of my life, I've been loving Patrick Troughton. He's my favourite Doctor, and so I've spent ages looking at myself in the mirror and just trying to pretend to be Patrick Troughton. Like, I'm not the best. I had to learn the lines. Now, the lines are very difficult because, again, the lip syncing, you have to lip sync every single thing he says.
Oh, yeah. Let's just sit down for a minute.
I noticed that when he's sitting down, he ends his sentences with Jamie, Victoria and I, yeah. Like that sort of...
Jamie and Victoria and I, Jamie and Victoria and I, we meet some old friends.
This time is spent recording myself on my iPhone and just saying all the lines and trying to sync it up to the audio and then deepfake it. I used footage from the Three Doctors to get colour information because I feel like that trains it easier because it's going from colour information to colour information, from face A to face B. But then I also trained it on the Web of Fear, all the available footage from that. Because you get certain, like, he looks younger and he's got that little plaster scar thing. So all that went in. When we filmed it, we set up all the tracking markers everywhere. A bit back then later. And we had the camera on a shoulder mount. My friend Isaac came in and helped me. We shot it, and what I did was, because I was acting, we needed the audio to play. But I didn't want to just play it without any lead up. So what I did was I recorded myself counting us down. Right, 15 seconds right now, okay. Get ready, guys. 10 seconds now, okay. Really get ready now. I'll be counting down now, right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So it's kind of like I'm directing in the past. It's kind of like a timey-wimey directing scenario there. So very Doctor Who. There's so many takes where some words didn't fit. Like, it's very difficult to sync everything and remember, okay, I need to sit down here and then wait like a second and then he says something. It's so hard to get your mind around. One thing that went wrong was I ripped my trousers at one point.
Yeah, that was.
Is it? Does it need tighten?
It does again, I think. I think I've taken.
Sorry, I just heard my trousers rip. Yeah, they've ripped.
Oh no!
So that was annoying, and you can see that in the take. However, I cropped in, so that's why it's so cropped in. We shot it in 6K because I wanted to see as many tracking markers as possible, but we could have shot it in 4K and framed it a bit better. Could have seen a bit more of the floor, maybe, because then it would be easier to add the CGI background in. So many things that I learned during this that would have been that will help next time. But the last take was the best one. So I did a full head model, and this takes the whole head and changes it. And that's because my face, my bone structure isn't the same as his. If it was closer, then it would be easier to deepfake just the section here. And then I did have it's called a whole face model. That's just to get more detail. And so I used both models, one lower res for the whole head, the higher res just overlaying on top. And this worked quite well, I think. Although the potential consequence is that the hair doesn't seem to connect well with the face, although I think this is because deepfakes have no concept of time. So when they generate an image, it's based on that position and what it's learned from the source data. So it just generates it to this position. Oh, the hair should be like this, and when it's here, it's like, oh, it should be like this. So when it moves, it doesn't matter where it is. It just sort of generates how it learned it, which doesn't work because hair moves and physics and stuff.
Physics!
A couple of things that would have helped with the deepfake would be having massive collars, which would have been more costume accurate as well. But I just made do with the blue shirt I had. It creates a better neckline. Like with most deepfakes, it's jawline. But I feel like a neckline makes it connect to the body a bit better, and having big collars hides most of the neck. And you don't really want to get the effect that Iron Man had, where it's like a floating head sort of in the CGI body. And also another thing that's really interesting is it kept thinking I was angry all the time, which I'm very rarely angry. But it's because my eyebrows are lower than Charlton's. He's got more angular eyebrows. So a way to do that would be to get false eyebrows. I mean, you wouldn't see any of this footage of my face anyway in the actual video. But it's just so that the program is like, oh yeah, I can learn that to that easier, instead of thinking, oh, that must be angry then. It's all like trial and error, because it's just at the whims of the program. Another thing that really helps deepfakes is flat lighting, and that's really useful because Doctor Who had flat lighting for most of the classic era. Interesting, this footage I think was shot on film, because most of the tunnel scenes were shot on film. And it's very contrasty, and also there's this thing called out of phase film inserts where they've like telecened it into the studio, and it's sort of double frames. So like I can replicate it here, like that. Like it's showing the last frame slightly transparent, and so I replicated that with this footage. Just the next footage it cuts to is the actual episode, so it needs to look as much like it as possible. So going back to the tracking markers. So difficult to key it, and that's because we used white tracking marker. We used white tape, and I should have just got green tape. I should have prepared for that. So in the end I rotoscoped it all. So a way to fix that would be to get a virtual production setup, which is like having a Vive controller on top of the camera and having the HDMI feed go into a computer, and using Unreal Engine you can live preview what you're looking at and set dress it like The Mandalorian, except cheaper. There's a BBC program that did that. So the 3D model was from TurboSquid, and what I did with it was I slightly modified it, and I like extended it and made it go around the corner a bit more, and that all worked really well. And I put a light at the end, but it's not very accurate. And I think what I would prefer to do is, there's just so many creators, like fan creators on Twitter and all around. And I think it would be so cool if everyone could just work together and like share models. And here's some of the raw takes that we took. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Sit down. Let's just sit down for a minute. Something I want to tell you. When we start out on our next adventure, Jamie and Victoria and I, we need some old friends. Yes. But we also need some old enemies. Very old enemies. The Yetis, and this time, they're just a little bit more frightening than last time. So I want to warn you, if your mummy or daddy is scared, you just get them to hold your hand. Off we go again. See you soon. I hope.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, that was good. You really put your heart and soul into that one, I could tell.
And yeah, I think that so much can be improved. So for next time, I think I could train on higher resolution footage of Patrick Troughton. So he was in some episodes of Danger Man, and that was shot on film. So if there was a HD version that came out, I'm looking at you, network. Other things I could try is some things like getting an actual actor in, or I know like a massive thing of the original video was that it uses original audio. And well, if you were to get the permission from the family, I think it would be less of a hindrance to use, like, recreate your own audio. And so if you were to get an impressionist who could also act. So I think getting family's permission is like a major key point that would have to be done if this was to be done in an official BBC release. So thank you so much to Isaac for helping me film this video and for getting all those blasted tracking markers down. Such a help. So for me now, I've got so many video ideas I'd love to do. I've got a Patreon now, so you can help support me if you would like. some videos I got upcoming would be, I've got a video about the history of deepfakes, like the legality and ethics of them. I've also got a video history of resolution in Doctor Who, but mainly it's an excuse to talk about different cameras and qualities, and I'd love to carry on experimenting with AI and seeing how well it can restore things, and like, can I remove that double framing stuff? And more regenerated Who, updating old VFX, and also just directing my own films. I'd love to. I've got such a passion for film and television, and yeah, so thank you so much for watching. Goodbye. Oh, sorry, it's got the videos that are coming up there. I know how to YouTube in 2022. Yeah. Yeti.